Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into those talks in Istanbul between Russia and Ukraine.
That's right. We've got reports from Suspiln, The Economist, via Oliver Carroll, Ukrainska Pravda too.
And our mission here is really to unpack what was actually said, the key demands, the threats, and anything else on the table.
Yeah, it sounds like Russia came in with a, well, pretty firm opening position based on these sources.
Okay, let's get right to it then. This demand for Ukrainian forces to pull back. We're talking Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, Zaporizhia, the parts Russia doesn't control.
Right. And crucially presented as a precondition, like before any ceasefire happens.
What do the sources tell us about why that specific demand? Why was it so central, you think?
Well, the implication seems to be it's not just about holding current lines. It looks potentially strategic for Russia's longer-term goals.
Like securing land corridors, resources in the south and east, that sort of thing.
Exactly. That seems to be the underlying strategic thought process hinted at in the reports.
And then there's the threat. If Ukraine says no to the withdrawal, boom, Russia goes for Kharkiv and Sumy.
That's what the reports indicate, yes. And that would be a huge escalation.
Huge. How? I mean, widening the conflict zone.
Definitely. Bringing major cities, big population centers, right into the direct line of fire. Plus, their location.
Bordering Russia, so it buffers them more, puts more pressure on Kyiv.
Precisely. That seems to be the strategic logic suggested.
And adding to this whole picture, this long game idea, the Russian delegation had Medinsky, wasn't it?
Yes, Carol quoted Medinsky.
Saying Russia's ready to fight for many years, referencing like a 21-year war.
Yeah, the war with Sweden. It suggests a calculated stance. They're saying they're prepared for a really protracted conflict.
Almost like they believe time is on their side, maybe? Or just posturing.
Could be a mix, but it certainly signals they're thinking in terms of years, not months, potentially. A mindset geared towards a sustained push.
And it's important that multiple sources pick this up. Suspiln, Carroll, both mentioning the withdrawal demand and the Kharkiv-Sumy threat.
Right. The consistency does lend weight to it being Russia's actual position in those talks, not just, random noise.
It really makes you ask, though, with such tough preconditions and this long war talk, was there any immediate wiggle room? Did the sources suggest any?
That's the key question, isn't it? The reports paint a picture of pretty entrenched positions on those core issues, at least initially.
But it wasn't all about demands and threats, was it? There were other topics.
Yes, thankfully. Rustem Umerov apparently brought up a prisoner exchange.
Oh, yeah. A big one.
Potentially. The number mentioned was 1,000 for 1,000. That would be quite significant.
That would be a positive sign, wouldn't it? Some humanitarian progress, even if the big stuff is stuck.
Exactly. Shows some willingness to engage on human terms.
And reports also mention just general talk about a ceasefire, separate from the precondition stuff, and even like super early thoughts about a Zelensky-Putin meeting.
Preliminary discussions, it sounds like, showing diplomatic channels weren't totally shut.
But with that massive gap on the core demands we talked about, hard to see a leaders' meeting making immediate breakthroughs back then, right?
Very unlikely. Based on these reports, the groundwork just didn't seem to be there yet. The foundations were shaky.
And quickly, those earlier trilateral talks, Ukraine, U.S., Turkey, and Istanbul, what's the significance there?
Well, it highlights the international angle. Ukraine's allies being involved, trying to support a resolution, and Turkey's role as host, obviously.
Okay, so let's try to pull this all together. The picture from these sources is Russia lays down major territorial demands first. Non-negotiable, basically.
Right. Coupled with a serious threat of escalation. Kharkiv, Sumy.
And saying we're ready for this to take years.
But at the same time, some other channels were open. Prisoner exchange ideas, early ceasefire talk, maybe a future leaders meeting down the line.
So wrapping up, here's something for you, the listener, to think about.
Yeah.
Given Russia's apparent long-term view and how fundamental these demands are.
What do you see as the real deep obstacles to a lasting peace emerging from talks like these? And how might demands like these reshape what future negotiations could even look like? Lots to consider there.